It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hayes. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and a whole lot more. 2 blocks east of campus. The Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, expertise, technology, and compassion, all right here. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. BTI, your John Deere dealer in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop, dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive service and repair, and tires for all driving needs.
And a good Monday. Welcome into Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Wellbrock. We are live at the Golden Q here in Hayes, and it's certainly good to have you with us for our final football edition of Tiger Talk. Head coach Chris Brown will be joining us. We'll be shifting to basketball next Monday. Women's coach Tony Hobson, men's coach Mark Johnson will join us, so we certainly invite you to come on out. We are live at the Golden Q, 12:15 until 1 o'clock, talking 4 State Sports, and of course a lot of great specials. Every Monday is the grilled cheeseburger special, so you want to check that out. They've got a lot of other great burger options. Of course, the best burger around, and stop on by. Great food and drink specials. They'll have Monday Night Football on tonight, and all the college games on the weekend, as well as the NFL. So it's the place to be, the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus. The game's on. They're open. You can participate by sending us a question. We've got a few questions already for today. All you have to do is go to FHSUathletics.com. When you get to the athletic website, click on Fan Zone. You'll get a drop-down menu there at the very bottom. It's Tiger Talk, Ask the Coach. Submit your question. If we use it, you'll be in the running for a $25 gift card from the great folks here at the Golden Q, who want to remind you they're accepting applications for the Fort. Also, karaoke contest coming up on December 7th. So if you're a karaoke person, someone who is good, maybe not good, who cares? Have a lot of fun. That'll be on December 7th, and you want to try out their Burger of the Month. It's actually the Turkey Jamwich. Had a chance to sample this. It is really, really good. They've also got I don't know the name of it, but it's basically stuffing that you'd have on your Thanksgiving meal wrapped up in beer batter and fried. So right there. It is maybe the best thing you'll ever eat. That is also going on now here for the month of November, so you want to try that out, along with the Burger of the Month, the Turkey Jamwich, here at the Golden Q. And with that, we bring in, now your appetite's going, we bring in head coach Chris Brown. Congratulations. Got a big win. You went into the game down in Tahlequah. I mean, you were the better team. Should have taken care of business. Took a little while to get going, but in the end, it was a fun day. Everybody got to play. Everybody had some success. Been a while since you've had one of those.
Yeah, well, it has been, and it was enjoyable. To see our kids go out there and perform. We didn't start out so hot, offensively, but defensively, we stayed to the ground like we have, pretty much all year long. I thought we've done a good job defensively, but it was good to see multiple kids get in the game and have some success and just getting those reps, those game reps is going to help us here, in the long run here in the future, just to get these kids ready to play, Tiger football again. And, I'm excited about the future and what those young kids did, and you saw it as well. I mean, there's some pretty good talented kids, pretty talented kids out there on the field for us, and they're going to get better as these years go on.
And I've heard coaches, and you've said this before, whatever the quantitative number, I've heard 10, I've heard 15, whatever it is, but getting a rep in a game as opposed to getting practice reps. I mean, they practice, they do stuff. A lot of kids are on scout team or whatever the case may be, but getting to do it in a game, it's just different. And it doesn't matter who you're playing, whether it's Northwest or even Northeastern. You can't replicate what happens in a game situation, can you?
No, you can't. Just because practice, everybody says practice is practice. You know how it is, but it doesn't hurt you, in practice if you get beat or if you miss a block or whatever it might be, but in game times, those situations really do, hurt you. So it's a little bit more more important that you make sure you do your job and do your assignment. And our kids have been able to do that. They put a lot of time in. They put as much time in as anybody else. In the weight room, in the classroom, film study, and in the playbook, and whatever they're doing to get themselves on the field. And whenever you get a chance, you got to reward them somehow. And you see how hard they play when they get the opportunity to get in there. It's amazing to see how excited they are and the intensity. And I thought they played really physical. A lot of the young guys that got in there as well. But they put the time and the effort in, and they need to get that opportunity. And I don't know what that magical number is, Gerard. I really don't, whether it's 10, 15, 20. But I know game reps are huge, and getting these kids ready to play here in the future.
You mentioned physical. I thought you guys were more physical, and I thought your tackling maybe as good as it's been. I know it's Northeastern State. They're trying to get back on track. They're kind of young in their rebuilding process. But that being said, I thought you had some good – there are a couple plays. It's some one-on-one, and if they don't make the play, it was going to be some big gains, and your guys, by and large, made the plays.
And it's just, as the years gone on, because we're pretty young. When you look at us across the board, offensively, defensively, we do have a lot of young guys and a lot of guys that haven't really played for us, and you can see it start to click, little by little, each week. And I thought this week they played really confident, and they made plays that they needed to make and got themselves in a good position defensively. And I thought John Johnson had a great game, against Tahlequah, and he's getting better each week. Midges is getting better each week, and you can just see the growth of these young men, week in and week out. But they got a test this week coming up, and we'll see where they're at.
Yeah, Pittsburgh State coming to town. We'll obviously talk about the Gorillas as we move along in the program. Thought you got a little bit more pressure on the quarterback as well. I know it's probably not to the liking you would want, but it's amazing when you can do that, how much better the back end of the defense becomes when the quarterback doesn't have time to set and just pick things apart.
It is, just keeps a little bit more pressure off of them, because it's hard to cover, 5, 6, 7 seconds, or a quarterback scrambling, not be able to keep him in the pocket. It just puts a lot of pressure on those DBs, but it was nice to get some pressure, and we need to continue doing that. And then when we blitz, I feel like we need to start blitzing. I think we're a little bit timid right now when we go, and instead of just running through people or making somebody miss and getting to the quarterback. But it's hard as a defensive back. If you don't have guys getting pressure on the quarterback and making them uneasy, and just a little bit of pressure kind of gets those guys uneasy enough where they make a bad throw, make a bad decision.
You got a couple of interceptions. That's been a challenge, but I think that's 3 straight games now. You've had interceptions in, giving you 5 for the year. And when you break down this season, there's obviously a lot of factors go into it. One of them has been the turnovers and the turnover margin. You're usually double digits in the plus. You're +2 now. It's taken 10 weeks to get into the positive numbers, but it has gotten better here in the last 2 or 3 week games.
It has, and it's just a matter of those young guys figured it out, playing physical, getting some pressure on the quarterback, hitting the running back multiple times, not just one guy at a time, but gang tackling and those things, and it all goes hand in hand. And then just us offensively not turning the ball over too, helps out, and we really haven't done a lot of that lately. Which, knock on wood, we don't start now because we don't need to. But it all works together, and there's times in that game. You think we could have maybe had 1 or 2 more, but we were in a decent position, and but we made the play still. But turnovers it's about physicality, getting pressure on the quarterback, hitting the heck out of those running backs, and making them cough the ball up.
We're at the Golden Q. It's Tiger Talk. It's brought to you today by G&L Tire and Automotive, with their great November tire sale going on now. It's an annual event. You'll get some of the best deals all year long on tires for all driving conditions and budgets. Of course, they have complete automotive care and repair as well. G&L Tire and Automotive, just east of 8th and Main on the bricks in downtown Hayes. We will take our first break. More Tiger Talk from the Golden Q coming up next here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Are you a
Soto started to the left, now lines up right of Fuller. They give it to Adrian. He's going to burrow his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. There was not a hole initially, but Soto found a gap, and he finds the end zone. And the Tigers, after going 3 and out on their first 2 possessions, march it down the field and score. Yeah, some of the action from Saturday. Fort Hays State picks up a victory over the Northeastern State Riverhawks, 64-6 the final. And Tiger Talk is brought to you today by Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Here to make every story shine brighter. It's the way they do banking, one story at a time. Check them out, goldenbeltbank.com. We're again live at the Golden Q, and it was a slow start, 3 and out. I think 3 total yards, first 6 plays, and you thought, uh-oh, here we go. But you put together a pretty impressive drive, 13 plays, 69 yards, able to punch it into the end zone at that point, and kind of off and running after that. The offense kind of found its stride.
Yeah, we did. It's just, a little slow start, but it's, sometimes happening. We really wanted to try to establish the run game, and, sometimes it's just finishing the block or one guy missing his block and it stops you. So, that's something we still want to continue to do is run the ball. I mean, and that's how you win in this conference is being able to run the ball. You just can't pass it all the time. So, we were trying to establish it. We just had a couple slip-ups there and guys missing an assignment here and there, or maybe the back didn't see the hole properly, and it gets you, and then you're 3 and out, and you got to punt, and good thing our defense did a good job of keeping them out of the end zone. But once we got on track and figured out what they were doing, exactly, because sometimes they do more movement than what you're used to, and just watching film, sometimes those teams do those things, and you just got to adjust to it, and once you do it and figure it out, things should be you should be able to roll pretty quick after that.
334 yards. I would say you guys figured it out running the football, and I thought both Adrian and also Kalen did a good job of hitting the hole hard, yet but being patient enough, and then when they got the opportunity to plant and go upfield, they did that.
Yeah, they did. Now the thing we've got to work on is making somebody miss. We do a good job of now starting to be impatient, seeing the hole, and now getting to the second level and making a guy miss and getting a big run out of it, have something explosive. So that's something that's still in the works. Soto's young. This is really his first year starting for us at tailback, and same with Keelan, and it's just getting those guys to be comfortable and confident, and they are running physical and trying to run through people, and sometimes you got to make those guys miss and get a big run.
Offensive line, happy with the way they played. I mean, I know Chance got sacked the one time, but by and large, he had time to throw. And as you said, you run for 334 yards. Must have been doing something right.
Yeah, they played pretty well. I thought they did some good things. They got locked in and focused. It's just about after the first 2 series, this is put your mouthpiece in, let's grit down on it and bite, and let's go to war and go to battle, and then let's get these things done and move them off the ball. And after that, they did it. And so I was pretty pleased with how they did things. They protected Chance pretty well, and it was just the one sack. That's hard to do in these games these day and age.
Chance had a 20-yard run. He matched his career long in that one. And I know at times the run is there, and it's that fine line. Do you take it? Do you try to throw? But made a good decision. Got a 20-yard scamper. I think it set up a score eventually. But seems like he's been trying to do that a little bit more this season.
He's done a good job with it. At times he gets a little bit antsy, and kind of gets himself in a little bit of trouble here and there. But, the last few weeks he's really honed in on, doing his job, doing his assignment, and not trying to move around so much, and when it's there, take it. And I just need to learn how to slide so he doesn't get drilled a few times here and there. But he's taking advantage of those opportunities. When they're there, you got to take them. If he can get his first downs by doing it, go ahead and do it.
We'll talk more about that here in just a second. We're at the bottom of the hour, so let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. You're listening to Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction.
More expertise and more perks. EquityBank.com. 94.3 FM, 1400 AM. KAYS, Hays.
Gerard Wellbrock, head coach Chris Brown. We are back at the Golden Q. It is Tiger Talk on this Monday, our final football edition of Tiger Talk. We'll have basketball. I'll tell you about the schedule. It's that time of the year. The worlds collide and merge, and we've got a busy week of Tiger athletics for you. We'll tell you about that a little bit later on. But talking football with Coach Chris Brown. Now, Chance had been diving headlong. I chuckle. He did try to slide. He just slid really late. They still hit him, and it was a good no call because he got into the slide late. But but looks like it's slowly making progress, but it's got to make you nervous when he's out there like that.
It does, because you don't know. He's just a competitor, and he's going to try to make every play that he can. He's going to try to get the extra yard that he can, and that's just who he is. It's just being smart, and he is a smart kid, but that's the competitive side in him. He just wants to do the best that he can for his team and make the plays that he can for his team as well. But it's those little things like that can sometimes hurt you, and you just got to be a little bit sooner on it. And he'll learn that as he goes along, but he's a competitor.
Well, and we had just talked to him after the game, obviously playing with a heavy heart, the passing of his grandfather last week. He played through the Emporia game with that, but he throws 4 touchdown passes, moves him to number 1 all-time in career TD passes at 63, surpassing Jacob Mazzaro. Had a nice tweet for him on Sunday congratulating him. He's second in career completions, second in career passing yards, and 393 from being number 1 in all-time passing yards. Might need that Saturday against Pitt, but he continues to move up the record books at Fort Hays State. He's going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, he is, and he's a tremendous leader. He's a great football player. He's smart, knows the game, very well. A tremendous, competitor as well. Everything you want in a guy, and then that's Chance, and a great teammate, and he'll do anything for you. And he puts a lot of time and effort into making sure that he's ready, on Saturday, and gets his team ready as well. But he doesn't even look at those things. All he cares about is the wins and losses, and he wants to win, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure he puts his team in the best position to win.
Well, the Tigers do on Saturday, 64-6 ends up being the final margin, and I'm sure you would have loved to pitch the shutout. They score on the final play of the game, and you had a lot of new guys in there. There were some penalties that kind of played into that, extending that drive, but up until then, it was pretty well-played game, not many penalties, and even though those young guys gave up the score, still a great effort on that side of the ball.
It was a tremendous effort, and that's hard to do, and they didn't give up hardly any yards at all. I think going into that last quarter, they only had like 45 or 65 yards of total offense maybe, and I think they ended up with like 100 and something. I can't remember. Something close to that. But, yeah, tremendous job. And it's just the young guys getting in there. They're so anxious to make a play, so they always jump the short routes, and then they give it the one behind them, and then they have to go make plays and give up some big plays here and there. But, as they mature and grow, they'll understand that and get better. And, as a coordinator, and Coach Harris, when I was coordinating the same way, he's like, man, did we just put our ones back in so they can't score? But you can't do it, right? You got to give them the opportunity to play and give them the chance to make things happen.
Well, the first half, they had their third possession. They got it onto your side of the field. I think they got to the 47. You stopped them, forced them a punt. And they only had two fourth-quarter possessions. Those were the only other 2 possessions that made it past the 50. You got the interception of the end zone by Arteaga on one, and then the touchdown on the last one. But that says it all. And I know, as you said, they're struggling, but the fact until the fourth quarter they had crossed the 50 one time. That I don't care who you are, that's a good job regardless of who you're playing.
It is, and no matter who it is. That is hard to do, and getting the ball back to our offense so we can score points. But that's tough. Like you said, it doesn't matter who you're playing. To keep them on their side of the field, continuously through the entire game, it is hard to do. But they did it. But you saw them flying around. I think that's the best I've seen our defense really fly around, hit people in the mouth, play physical. Play with good technique, fundamentals, and it was across the board. It wasn't just the D-line or the linebackers. It was the whole, 11 guys on the field, doing their job and doing their assignment.
We do have several questions. We're going to get them in throughout the program. We appreciate everybody submitting a question. Again, all you have to do is go to FHSUathletics.com, click on Fan Zone. It's a drop-down there at the very bottom. Ask the coach. You submit it, and we use it. You'll be in the running for a gift certificate. One of them was about the offense starting slow, not really getting going to the second quarter. What has to happen to click from the very beginning of the game, because you're going to play Pitt State Saturday and you're going to need all 4 quarters on both sides of the ball?
I think it just really goes into the preparation part of it right now is really getting in there and watching the film together. Quarterbacks, running backs, O-linemen, receivers, tight ends, just getting on the same page and understanding what's happening in front of you, and putting that time in. We try to make 4 hours a week mandatory, but that's not nearly enough. But just because of the time frame of how much time we can have with the kids too, and the amount of time we can have them up there. So that's the big part of it, just really getting in there, honing in on what you're doing, and just playing physical from the get-go, just to having the mindset that you're going to get after some guys, once you get out there. Sometimes I feel like guys just want to fill it out instead of just getting after it from the get-go. And there's no filling out process in football. You either get after it or you don't, and when you don't, those are the things that happen.
Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Orthopedic Institute. Expertise, technology, and compassion all right here. The Hayes Orthopedic Institute, they're the official team physicians for Fort Hays State Athletics. We'll take another break. More Tiger Talk from the Golden Q after the break here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
3rd and goal. Play action. Fuller dumps it to the tight end. Butke, he's in. Touchdown, Fort Hays State. Hunter Butke hauls in his 7th touchdown catch of the year, and the Tigers now lead 19-0 with 4:06 to go here in the second quarter. Yeah, he would catch another one to put him up 27-0 at halftime. Hunter had another big day for Fort Hays State. They roll by Northeastern State on Saturday, 64-6. We're live at the Golden Q, the home of Tiger Talk. Again, they're accepting applications for the Fort, which will be opening up soon. Their karaoke contest coming up on December 7th, and you'll want to try out their Burger of the Month, the Turkey Jamwich. It is something. There's a couple of options for that one. Of course, we told you about the appetizer, and I don't know the name of it, but if you describe it, the stuffing with the beer batter, they'll know exactly what you're talking about and get you going, get you ready for Thanksgiving here at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus. If the game's on, they're open. Tiger Talk brought to you by Adams Brown, where they do more than just run numbers and file tax returns. They work hard to become strategic allies. Adams Brown, strategic allies and CPAs. Gerard Wellbrock, head coach Chris Brown, with you here for our final football installment of Tiger Talk. We've got some questions we'll get to as we move along here in the program, but one of them that came in, biggest position area that you're going to be recruiting towards in 2022 as we approach the final game of the regular season and that all-important recruiting season just around the corner.
It is. It starts, Monday, a week from today. We'll be on the road recruiting, and not that we wanted to already, but just kind of the way the season ended up. But that we'll start out Monday hitting some different areas. But we're going to try to find the best kids that we can possibly on the field, whether it's running back, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's lineman, tight ends. I mean, every position. We go recruit and try to find better than what we have now, and we let our kids know that as well. We're going to do whatever we can to try to replace you, and if you don't want to be replaced, what are you going to do to make sure that you don't get replaced? And that comes to their work in the weight room and in the off season and the things that they do. But I think every position you got to look at it and try to make better, and whatever it is, whatever kids we can find that we feel like are going to help our program, we're going to bring those kids in.
How do you go about doing that? Do you recruit by position, or do coaches have a region? How does that go? And then if, say, I guess I'll have you answer that first. How does that work when you go out and recruit?
Just all different regions. We have guys in different areas that hit, like with the junior colleges, they'll have, certain coaches have certain areas. Like Coach Judd will be in Iowa. Coach Bryant will be out in Texas. Coach Ike is kind of, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, with those JUCOs. Coach Harris will kind of be the El Dorado, Butler and Hutch. And then, I do Garden Dodge, and so we just kind of go all over the place, and we'll keep looking, and it's by region. And if they see a guy that they like or a guy that they talk to, they'll get a hold of the coordinator and the position coach, and send them film for them to watch and evaluate to see if we want to bring this kid up on a visit or not.
And then that's kind of my next question. So then, say you're Coach Harris, you're a defensive coordinator, and you find a wide receiver. Does he then get with Coach Bryant, Coach McCray, and talk that over? And how does that go from that process? Once you start breaking down, it's a position you don't coach.
Yeah, you do. You just, hey, you got this guy here at, Butler Community College, and he's a good wide receiver. They like him. Here's his size. Here's his height, or his weight and everything. And hey, here's his video. So then they'll, Coach Bryant will check it out, and Coach McCray will check it out as well. And if they like him, we'll do everything we can to get him on campus and get him offered.
it's intriguing, and it really goes on year round, the recruiting, but it really gets hot and heavy here for you guys. And unlike Division I, who's got that December 15th early signing date, Division II, Division III, you don't have that. It's still going to be in February, but programs, I mean, obviously this is where you build your program here after this game on Saturday for the next three or so months.
Yeah, it is. It's a busy time, and it happens through the season. We've had kids on campus already on on game day visits and trying to get them interested in us as just to want to be Tigers. And it's a hard job. It really is. It just doesn't happen overnight. I mean, it's a lot of building relationships with the kids and their parents and and the coaches as well, and trying to make sure that this is the best fit for them as well, and we want to make sure the kids are fit for us too. So there's a lot that goes into it to making sure that we get the right kids that fit Fort Hays State and who we are.
Tigers coming off a big win over Northeastern State. They've got a tough one to close out the regular season. Pittsburgh State, who had a heartbreaking loss, a blocked field goal basically on the final play of the game to give Washburn a victory and keep their playoff chances alive. We'll talk more about the Gorillas in just a little bit. We need to take another break. We'll get to some of those questions, more of the questions that were sent to us this week. A reminder, the Tiger Talk is brought to you by The Taco Shop, where they have dine-in, carry-out, or, of course, fast delivery, 625-7114, or they've got that handy Taco Shop app. You can use it. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. More Tiger Talk from the Golden Q right after this break on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction.
Ready to discover something new? The next time you're in your car, tune your radio to 94.3 FM.
It's here! It's Hayes' greatest hits.
Love it.
On 1400 KAYS and 94.3 FM. Do you believe in love? Glory days.
Well, 94.3 FM, KAYS. Go ahead, check us out.
Fuller rolls left, throws to the end zone. It is going to be battled for it. Caught! Montario Birchfield. Touchdown. Fort Hays State, just his second touchdown catch of the year. He was battling triumphant Alatunji, who had an interception earlier in the end zone, and Birchfield just ripped it away from him. A 20-yard touchdown pass, and Fort Hays State adds to the lead. It's 33-0. Yeah, one of Chance's 4 touchdown passes. That was a nice play by Birchfield. It was kind of a tie, if you will, and he ripped it away, used that size and strength. I know it's been a bit of struggle for him. He's an older guy, and he was out of football for several years. I'm sure it hasn't maybe gone quite the way he is liked, but it was a nice play there, and good to see him back in the end zone.
It was. Those are things that we're used to seeing him do, on a weekly basis, back in his younger days, I guess I should say. But, he's still coming to work every day and doing the things we ask him to do. He just, sometimes you lose a little bit. I still got it, and I'm sure you still got it, but he might have lost. No, he's done a good job. It just takes time to get it. It just takes time to get it back, and we're still glad he's out there. He's still working and doing the things we ask him to do.
Manny Ramsey had a nice diving catch in the end zone. Just got it by the pylon. Weren't sure we're going to see him after the shot he took, I think it was a Washburn game, and then missed last week. Good to see him out there in limited duty, but made a nice touchdown grab as well.
Yeah, just trying to keep him healthy, and it's important, especially going into this week, that we have all of our guys ready to go and ready to play. And, we want to make sure we did get him some reps, but we had to make sure we limited them. So, we make sure he's ready for this week. So, but no, he did a good job, and it's play that it wasn't there, then Chance scrambled and he got where he needed to be and put it right on him and got the touchdown.
Hey, Matthew Macy, another young guy from Andover Central, freshman, had right before halftime had a big possession setting up a score, and I think he had a big catch to set up your first score of the third quarter. And then Brett Windsor made a nice grab for you. So you got some of the young freshmen in, guys who we haven't seen play a whole lot, but when their number was called, they answered that call.
They did, and it's just them getting better, week in and week out, and and yearly. I mean, they're still young in our our program right now, and they're still trying to figure out how to play the wide receiver position, because it's a lot different than it is in high school. You got to run around a certain way, and there's certain areas where you need to get to on certain coverages, and being in the right spot and being able to set up that route to get open. So it just takes time, and those kids always think they're ready, but as a coach, you just know they're not quite there yet. And, once it clicks and they see it, it's like, okay, now they're ready and they're ready to roll, and they do a good job.
Let's get to some of the questions that were sent in, some today, some throughout the week. And, again, we appreciate all those questions. Keep them coming. Chance to win some free food from the Golden Q. One of them has to do with the rules limiting practice time per week and contact drills and all the different types of practice drills that have affected probably player development from what you've been able to do in the past or the ability to prepare. But how have those rules affected that? And then maybe the follow-up is, how have you had to change your coaching with these rules and how you go about preparing for a season, and then once you're in season, preparing from game to game?
Yeah, it's tough. You get 20 hours a week, with these young men, and that's including the game. And the game itself, costs you 3 hours. So you're talking about 17 hours, a week to prepare these kids, for a football game. And that's including their weights. That's including the film study. That's including practice. And we talk about 17 hours, that's not very much. And you only get 4 hours a day. And that's the max you can have with them. So if they got weights, and then you got, your film sessions and things like that, your practice time gets shortened down just a little bit. So it is hard. And then just the contact itself and how many times you can. But, this day and age, these kids are big, they're strong, and, probably limited a little bit of contact is good. But you kind of lose some of that physicalness of the game as well. And, board drills aren't there anymore. Oklahoma drills not there anymore. So now you're trying to figure out different ways to actually have, game type situations where it's one-on-one still, and these kids have got to make plays. And so you just talk with your coaches and try to figure things out, and talk with other coaches to see what they're doing and try to make them better. But I don't know, coaching style wise, you just try to stay to the grind and stay on them and make sure they're doing everything right and talk to them about being great. But a lot of these kids they have to do things on their own, and that's all there is to it. Either it's before practice or staying after to work on certain things. But the amount of time that we have with them is not very much.
You mentioned Oklahoma drill, and we've talked, maybe last week, we've talked about on the program about tackling, and you're starting to now get kids in the collegiate level that went through the high school level with some of these changes, and they've never had to do some of these drills, some of these tackling drills that anyone older than them all had to do when they played football at the high school level, and then obviously onto the collegiate level. You're starting to see them now play college football, and maybe some of the effects of not just you, but we've seen it all around programs maybe not tackling as well, and it takes half a season to kind of get into it. I wonder how many kids, do they still know what the Oklahoma drill is? Because obviously you haven't run it in a while. No one else has run it in a while. You're starting to get kids come through, and you have to say, when you bring up Oklahoma drill, they kind of look at you like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, sometimes, but now you don't get to say it anymore. You used to do the bull in the ring, and then you used to have a line of everybody just line up, and one person, they just kind of try to shuck everybody off. It was crazy, the things that we went through.
First day of pads always had to do the Oklahoma drill.
You did it, and it was just part of it, and it's part of toughness. And so it's really hard to just get that toughness part of the game, really coached into your kids now. Either they got it or they don't. And so, that's the hardest part of the physicality. The toughness, the grind is kind of what you lose now, when you can't really do the things that you want to do.
I bet you're the kid who loved the Oklahoma drill.
Loved it. I loved the shuck drill. I loved the bowling ring. I loved anything that was contact. I loved it. Because that was the game. I know that was the part of the game I loved the most was the contact.
Yeah, I was the kind of kid. I would have been stuck trying to have to do something against you. That's how it usually worked out for me. That's why I would have turned out to be a very good football player. All right, one more question, and we kind of talked about this, about players at a professional level. One, since you've been at Fort Hays, but even since, I know you've had some, right now Nathan Shepard still playing. You get a chance to watch him a little bit on Sunday, still doing a good job with the New York Jets. Couple in the Canadian Football League. I'm trying to think of any others. I think those are the only ones that you've been at Fort Hays State. There's been a few that you coached at Washburn that have moved on to the NFL to play in.
Yeah, there was a few that made them, that they just didn't make the team. Like Dwayne, they made the Chicago, exactly. And the Lindsay, Daniel, Nathan, I can't get those two
one
confused.
Of the two twins.
With the Lions, and then there's one with the indoor arena football, as well, the Lindsay twins too. And Ed Williams with his Green Bay Packers for a little bit. So there's a few. And then, Michael Wilhoit, I coached there at Washburn, who played for the 49ers for a long time. And then Joe Hastings was there. Trey Lewis, who played for the Falcons. And, there's quite a few. And then even Doyen Jabo, he made it to Chicago. And then Pierre Desir, got to coach him for 1 year, but then he went to Lindenwood as well. So there's been, quite a few. And, it's always good to see those guys, make it to the next level, because that's the ultimate goal. And hopefully here we can get a few more, from Fort Hays to be in the NFL league.
MIAA, I mean, for Division II league, certainly has had their fair share of guys playing in the league, and then you see it seems like there's a bigger trend for Division II players. You're finding more and more of them playing on Sundays. That's got to help in recruiting. And with the MIAA, if you're good, and I think Nathan Shepard's an example of the names you've mentioned before, if you're good and you play in our conference, you're going to get scouts look at you. You've got a chance to go to the league. That's got to help in recruiting a little bit, and where guys may hold out, try to go to a lower level, Division I, to convince them to come and play at the MIAA level and play for Fort Hays State.
Yeah, it is. It's just the the amount of contacts that we have with the NFL, just in this conference, and the number of kids that have played from this conference, in the league, that really helps get some of these kids here, and instead, like you said, going to some lower 1AA or something that they actually come play for us. And you're on I-70. I mean, everybody's traveling I-70, and coming through here, and we get everybody stopping through just to see if we have kids or not. So it's cool to see those guys, and they'll talk to our kids as well. And even when we're at different places playing, you'll see scouts there just evaluating different players from different teams.
Yep, saw a couple. I know Missouri Western early on, the first road game of the year, so certainly have that opportunity. Tiger Talk is brought to you by BTI. They're your area John Deere dealer, locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. We'll take our final break. We'll preview the Pitt State Gorillas this Saturday, right after this, here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
That was another legend on 99 KZ Country. And yes, before that, we had a brand new artist. Your home for today's stars and the legends. We play real country. I'm Teresa Trapp. Weather, news, sports, it's all here. We're on Facebook, and there is a listen live link at hayespost.com. Dial us in on your radio at 99.5 FM. KHAZ, Real Country. 99 KZ Country.
Fuller hands it off to Robinson. Blasts up the middle. He's got room to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Fort Hays State. Clay Robinson, and a huge hole as he ran behind Senatuli Teuhema, Tyler Lovett, and Christopher Strotter on that right side. That hole just opened up, and he takes it all the way into the end zone on a 32-yard touchdown run. Yeah, one of the guys, third touchdown of the year. He got some big playing time and had his best run there as a Tiger. Real quick before we talk about Pittsburg State, get your schedule. Tiger women's basketball Friday, 5:30 tip on the air at 5:05 on Tiger Radio Mix 103. We've got Fort Hays State, Pitt State Saturday, followed by Fort Hays State men's basketball on Saturday evening, and then Sunday afternoon, the Tigers at home. And then we'll have the women's game from St. Joe on Saturday. Jonathan Zweiger will have the call right here on KAYS. That's a 1:30 tip. Fort Hays State football, wrapping it up with Pittsburg State. Real quick, the Gorillas probably out of the playoff hunt now, losing to Washburn, but a really, really good football team. Not their first-year head coach, but their first full season with a head coach. Much different in them from what they've done in the past.
They throw the ball a lot more than they used to, and they do run the ball very well. They're big up front. Defensively, a little bit different than what we're used to seeing, but we'll just have to make those adjustments. But a very good football team. The games they have lost haven't been by very much, and we're going to be ready for them.
Well, and it's become a big game. You've kind of had their number here as of late, but another big in-state rivalry game. We talked about recruiting. It's got to be a big one to go out there. I'm sure you'll be going head-to-head with them for some players.
Yeah, we will, and this is going to be a huge game for us as well as for them, and we just got to do our best and try to win this ball game and be physical.
Not a big senior class, but you'll be honoring those 7 before kickoff on Saturday. Coach, we appreciate the time. Thanks for joining us every Monday. Let's close this season out with a victory on Saturday against those Gorillas.
Yes, sir. Thank you, George, for all you do.
There you go. Head coach Chris Brown. Again, it's a 1 o'clock kick. We'll be on the air at noon Saturday from Lewis Field, the Tigers and Pittsburg State, right here on the Tiger Sports Network and Tiger Radio Mix 103. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Bell Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, the Taco Shop, BTI, the Hayes Orthopedic Institute, and G&L Tire and Automotive, and of course live Mondays 12:15 from the Golden Q. Our first basketball program next Monday. Tony Hobson, Mark Johnson. We hope you can join us. Till then, for Amy B, this is Gerard Welbrock. So long, everyone.